Hey, this is Ralph for the Prineville Chess Club. I'm going to play a bot in this game. I'm going to play an intermediate bot, Laura, at 1100. I'll choose random opening and hit play, and let's see who we get. And looks like I got white, so I'm going to go ahead and move e4. I might play this game a little bit faster. They're going to bring their knight out, Alekhine's defense. I'm going to go ahead and challenge that knight, make it move multiple times. I'm going to make it move again. Okay, bringing it over here, we can make it move again. Do I want to start to do that? Might as well. Sometimes I worry about these little spaces here, but no. Yeah, this is one of the real big drawbacks to playing these bots. But I need to remember, there's still value to playing bots. Obviously, the bad thing is, they make just silly moves sometimes. Let's go ahead and develop even more. Develop. Yeah, they make such bad blunders that it kind of takes a lot of the realism, the tension out of the game. However, if we keep our focus in mind, and of course our goal is to make good moves, given whatever the position happens to be. Okay, so checks, captures, and threats. I still need some development. I'm hesitant to develop my knight because they've got a pawn push coming. If I look at checks, captures, and threats, I do see that this diagonal is open up to the black king, so I can develop my bishop with check. I could actually bring my queen out with check. I'm going to develop my bishop with check. Develop with check. They're offering to trade. Sure. I'm going to trade. If the queen comes out, no, it doesn't. I was going to say if the queen comes out, threatening this square, I was going to start to move my queen out as well. Okay, I am going to move my queen up here. I'm spotting this pawn over here on h7 as undefended. Okay, this pawn is undefended. Can I easily defend it? Actually, I can. I can kind of defend this pawn and attack this queen at the same time. Eyeing this potential square for a fork. It looks like they're going to give me that. So I'm going to fork. Grab a rook. Now, it could be maybe the other annoying thing about playing bots is they don't resign when they have a terribly lost position. So, again, we have to look at the positive on this kind of stuff. Even when our opponent doesn't resign, it's an opportunity. It gives us practice at converting a winning position, which is a skill in and of itself, and it is worth practicing. Let's see. I don't know if I technically have a checkmate opportunity, but instead of going for this pawn, I'm going to bring my queen up here and look at this checking square. Defended by my knight. Now, of course, if I check here, the king can escape. That really doesn't help me as much as I might hope. All right, I'm going to get this knight developed. Now, I'm tempted to castle here. Some people might argue against castling into the side where the opponent's pieces are. But for some reason, I'm not as worried about that. I think I value getting my rooks connected and getting both of my rooks active more than castling on this side. However, I do have potential over here. This pawn is pinned. It's not making any moves anytime soon, looking at their queen. I'm going to grab this with my rook. And maybe I can take and start to look at some moves up here. Now they're just giving me the knight for free. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take this. Bring the knight in. Attack here. I'll take that. Yeah, let's bring this knight over. I might try the knight down here. Okay, they're not going to go for that. Let's check with the rook. Force them back down. Bring the queen up. Maybe we can do over here. Okay, so they're going to start to sack some pieces. No worries, this square is protected. All right, do I have a checkmate? Getting darn close. If I check here, king only has one escape square. If I could bring my bishop onto this diagonal, that would be pretty sweet. Let's not let the king escape, though. So I'm going to take away that escape square. Let's see. Queen can take there. Don't want to do that. I think I just need to get this knight out of the way so my rook can come down here. And this would be very close to a check as well. So, all right, I'm going to bring this knight out of the way. Potential checking square here. King's going to have to come forward. Oh, goes forward this direction. Take away the escape square. Okay, now we've got something, right? Yeah, I can't be. Yeah, so here the king can't move away from the check. It can't block the check. It can't take the checking piece. So that would be a checkmate. That was a relatively boring game. So let's see. I'm going to... let's see, if I do a new bot, it'll take me back here. Let's jump down to, let's see, that was an 1100. Let's play Amir 1200. I'm still at random. I've got white, e4. Oh, this is the French. I just saw this in my last video in a game. French defense, normal variation. I'm going to bring this knight out. Guard that square. Bishop comes out. I'm going to take this right away. No, I'm not. That's not what I did last time. I was kind of happy with what I did last time. I think bishop comes out to guard this. Oh, okay. They take right away. That's a little bit unusual, I think. Opponent has traded a bishop for a knight, and that's generally considered not a good way to go. All right, we've got two attackers on this pawn. I've only got one defender. Oh, I'm going to take a pawn. Open up this line in front of the king. Check. Attack the queen. And develop. Develop and attack. Definitely good. Okay, they're threatening a pawn. I'm going to go ahead and castle. I'm going to develop this knight further. I know my queen could be traded here, but I can take back with a bishop. I'm going to pin the knight. Pinning the knight to the king. All right, I'm going to support this knight, see if they trade. They are not. Actually, I would be happy with a trade here. In fact, I can take this. This is removing the defender tactic. So this pawn is only defended by the knight. So if I take the knight, which is with check, by the way, they have to respond. Now I can take that bishop for free, and my pin is still maintained. let's see. I am not going to take this pawn right away. I'm tempted to, but instead I'm going to develop this bishop right over here, looking at this f7 pawn. I'm going to bring this knight out, or I'm sorry, rook. Looking at here, I do have kind of a plan of attack. Of course, my plan is being delayed a little bit because my bishop is under attack. So I'm just going to drop my bishop back all the way over here. I'm going to maintain this pin a little longer. But my thinking is, and I think I can do this now, I'm going to take this pawn. I would expect their rook to take back. Then I'm going to take this bishop. They can't take back because once I remove my f4 pawn, their f7 pawn will be pinned to the king. So I'll be able to take this back. Now their rook over here will definitely be able to take my bishop. But then I will be able to take my rook and take this knight. And my rook is defended by this sniper bishop back here. So I am thinking it'll be a pawn-pawn, so that's even. I'll be able to end up winning a bishop and a knight. They will end up winning a bishop. So I should be up a piece in this. So I'm going to take. They take. I take the bishop. They take a bishop. I take the knight. All right, they push a pawn, fair enough. I'm going to maintain this protection on my rook. And now I've got a discovered check opportunity. And this is a really good kind of discovered check. When the piece that you're going to move, I'm going to end up moving my rook. I can move my rook someplace where I can freely grab one of their rooks. And I could go either way. I'm actually going to go all the way over here. It's a discovered check, which means the king has to respond. And they respond in one of the worst ways. I'm going to now take this rook for free. I was going to be able to take that rook anyway, but taking a piece, your opponent's piece with check, is generally a very good thing. Okay, now I have another check opportunity. Remember, my bishop is guarding this diagonal, so I can check back here, and depending on where the king moves, I may have two attackers on this pawn. Okay, not quite, but yeah, let's start to add to white's misery. Actually, maybe I'll ignore this stuff over here for a moment. Start pushing a pawn. I've got this outside passed pawn. This pawn is free for me to take, by the way. I've got two attackers. The king is the only defender. I'm going to keep pushing this pawn, see what happens. Okay. I will take it. Check. Check. Check again. King has to keep moving forward. Check again. They have to block. Check with a bishop. Checkmate. King can't escape. So, okay, so another relatively fast game, but that was a fun one, of course. It's always fun when you win the game. But yeah, let's. I'm going to do a quick game review. Let's just kind of look and see if there's any glaring position. Now, of course, whether you're playing bots or playing people, probably doing a combination of the two, you will start to see similar openings over and over again. Yeah, so my accuracy was not that hot, you know, sub 8, 79%. Definitely could have been better. I had a couple misses. Fair enough. Remember, misses is when you have a good opportunity, whether it's a good check or even a checkmate or a good free capture of a piece. I'm not as worried about misses in bot games, just because, especially if it seems like it's really one-sided, I wasn't worried about losing. But it does give me a moment of pause. If the biggest flaw in my game was misses, that means I'm not taking the time to look at the position. So it does mean there is still some value. I can even see it in this chart here, right? Looks like white was doing very well with a 4-point advantage at one point, but then I dropped it down to less than a 1-point advantage. So if I just go to the analysis side, start hitting my right arrow key, I'm just looking at this evaluation bar. You can just barely see it over here. It's a little bit cut off, but I'm just looking at that evaluation bar to see when, okay, things are going well for white. Yeah, so these are okay moves, not the best moves. Okay, there's my first miss. Okay. Now, I still have a 1-point advantage, so it's still good for white. But trading down wasn't really a good aggressive move, especially when I had better options. So we know moving my knight, attacking the queen, offering a queen trade was not the best. So what other options did I have? Well, I'm still not completely developed, right? Ultimately, this bishop out to a3, pinning the knight to the king is probably a very good move. So let's make a mental note. I know I've got the engine lines up in the top right corner there, but I'm not looking at those yet. I'm keeping my eyes focused on the board and the eval bar. But definitely bishop to c3 is a good candidate move. And it should be one of the first candidate moves, especially early in the game when I still need to develop my pieces. By the way, even better, if I get my bishop to c3, that does open up a potential checkmate threat right there on e7, because my queen and my bishop would be looking at this one knight. And if I'm allowed to take, the king would have to move over, and then queen up here would be checkmate. So that is probably the top move right there, and it's going to lead to a potential. Maybe black could still get out of it with a block, but good potential move. So I'm going to assume bishop a3 is the top candidate move. Otherwise, bringing this rook out, and kind of for similar reasons, bring my rook out to e1, and that creates a battery of these two pieces against this knight. So that's probably good. I'm still going to say bishop to a3 is the best, and up at the engine, bishop a3 is the best. That would help me maintain that average. Rook e1 is the second best move, which is almost identical in quality to the first best move. And rook b1, getting this rook developed onto this line is considered to be a good move. But yeah, definitely getting pieces developed, pinning pieces, setting up a potential attack is the smarter way to go. So yeah, definitely my fault there for not taking the time to look at all the options and get those pieces developed early. Okay, I think that's the only takeaway I'm going to take from these couple bot games. But I will definitely be playing some more, and I'll be ramping up the level of difficulty on the bots so that hopefully the learning details will be a little bit more intricate and a little bit more interesting as we apply them to real games. Take care.